Hi again, my name is Brian, and we make magnificent invisible quilt hangers. They're good for a lot of things. We're hanging quilts, tapestries, design walls, rugs. You can hang wooden signs, steel signs, and we're going to take this package, very simple, and in this package we've got 5 metal plates. They're all stuck to each other because they're got very powerful magnets on them. The easiest way to do that is separate those, make sure there's a magnet on each plate, and let's go over the proper way of using the command strips. In this package you're going to find all the instructions necessary to use this for many different things. In this package there's 10 command strips, and you can use them or not use them. If you're not a fan of them, we have a screw hole. You can screw this to the wall. I'm going to show you how we can hot melt glue this to surfaces like stone, brick, and stucco if you want to hang things there. But when we're using a command strip, this product's been on the market over 30 years, and it's globally used around the world. And it's nothing more than just a double-sided foam tape. It's sticky on 2 sides, very sticky. It's got a cover on each side, and it's got a little tail. The tail's got an arrow on it, and when we want to remove this, we just stretch it from the wall. This stretches right against the wall, and it releases, and it comes off, most cases, with no problem. To put this on, you really want to make sure your surfaces are clean. So make sure there's no hand lotion on that. Make sure there's no oils. And we're going to take that command strip. We're going to peel that off. And I like to put it up a little bit higher on the top. I'm going to explain that why. You see this is a little bit higher than it needs to be, but there is a good reason for that. And once you get this on the back of that plate, because you haven't taken off the back side of that sticker, you can press real hard on it. And that's what you want. You want to get this stuck on that metal plate about as hard as you can. You're going to rub it. And actually what happens when you're rubbing this, you warm up that strip. And if you've got your walls prepared, or where you're going to stick them, make sure they're clean. Follow the instructions that come with it. You're supposed to clean with alcohol. You're supposed to wait after you clean with alcohol, because that alcohol actually absorbs into those surfaces. And if you don't let it fully evaporate, it will attack the adhesive. So you want to make sure that that wall is clean. Magic Eraser is a great product for that. So once we've got this nice and warmed up, we've got our wall clean, we can peel off this other side, and you're going to press it on the spot where you wanted it, and you're going to hold. The instructions say to hold for a minute. Press and hold that for a minute. You really want this to be on that wall, real firm and strong. And then you're going to wait a couple hours before you actually hang anything on it, and that's contained in the instructions. Once we get done with that couple of hours, we'll go back. I push on it some more because we really don't want it to fall off. So now that's adhered to that wall, and it's ready to hang something against it. In this case, we're using a quilt. We've got a standard rod pocket on this wool quilt. We've got a metal rod in the sleeve, and those 2 magnets hang that readily. Very simple thing. Now we start talking about sleeves. Quilters know how to make sleeves and rod pockets. I understand it's not something you always like to do, but it's going to be necessary to hang a quilt properly. If you're hanging in museums, it really protects the integrity of your quilt by supporting the weight of that piece across its width. But we have other ways to put sleeves on quilts. Maybe we're not as concerned about our Halloween quilt that we're going to hang for the holidays, and we might want to put a safety pin sleeve on that. Yes, safety pin sleeve. I've got one right here. This display quilt that we use at a lot of our shows, I've got a sleeve on it, a standard sleeve. But I've also taken some of these number 6 quilting pins, put them across the top of this. You can take this rod out of here. You can slide it through the openings of these pins. And the more pins you put, of course, the more support you get. The more pins you put, the less pull it's going to have on an individual spot on your quilt. But once we have that slit on there, it's going to hang just fine. It doesn't look much different than using your sleeve. and it's down and dirty, it gets that hung up there quick. There's some other ways to put sleeves on things. We don't only sell these to quilters, we also go to rug shows and tapestries. We're hanging a lot of different things, and here's a simple way to affix a metal rod on the back of a rug. What we've done here is we've used these twist pins. These twist pins you can get, they've been around for 100 years. They're used to hold your armchair protectors on your upholstered furniture, but it's nothing more than a little plastic button with a corkscrew pin on it. And that just turns into your fabrics and to the backs of your rugs to affix this metal strap. And this metal strap is called a Simpson Strong Tie. We're going to have some inserts in our videos to show you this, but you can buy this in many different shapes and sizes. It's a flat piece of steel. This is used to reinforce structures in homes and when they do building. But it's very inexpensive. It's galvanized. Just knock off any sharp edges that you might have on them when you pick them up from the store. And you're going to be able to slide these through your sleeves of quilts. This particular piece is thin. So it actually will allow us to hang quilts around a curve in a wall or a corner of a room. Just like that. Now that would go in the sleeve of your quilt and you'd be able to hang a quilt like that. Back to these twist pins. So when we're hanging a rug, something that has some nap to it, these twist pins, like I said, are a little corkscrew. That metal rod is going to go on the back of that plate. And I suppose you could use solid rods that you drilled holes in if you wanted to. But this Simpson Strong Tie has those holes in it. We've twisted these twist pins across there. And it's a very simple way to hang this quilt. Done. Just like that. We've hung heavier rugs. Heavier rugs might require a stronger bar. Let me get back in this picture here. So this rug is quite heavy. My wife Mary's made that sculpted carpet. And we've got a couple of ways we've done a sleeve on this. She's actually hot melt glued some fabric on the back of this and gave us a metal rod that we could put in there. Now there's my Simpson Strong Tie with the twist pins. You could do the same thing with this. We've hung bear hides like that, taxidermy, different types of rugs, and it holds it up just fine. This is quite heavy. And there again, there's just two magnets on the wall. We've screwed these to the wall to show you that's an option, as well as the 3M command strips. But that rug will stay right there with those two magnets. The heavier the rod is, meaning the thicker the gauge of this steel, is going to have a much stronger attraction to these magnets than, say, something very light. This rod here is going to be fine for anything this size, but there's not much steel, and we don't have the same attraction to that magnet as a heavier piece of steel. So something like this is going to hold a lot more weight, going to be a lot more useful to us. Unless everything you're hanging is small, then this is perfect. You can use curtain rods if you want to use those. We've taken this amazing tape, any kind of a tape, on this rod, it's just a yardstick. I've taken this incredible wrap. It's basically a clear tape. Basically, we call it saran wrap on steroids. It sticks to itself just like saran wrap. You wrap that around these pieces of steel, and now you can use a wooden rod in the sleeve of your quilt. It's just that we'd have to align the magnets where these metal plates are. When you want to make your adjustable rods, again, back to this incredible wrap, we also sell this. Comes in 50-foot rolls. I believe it's $13 a roll. You're going to strip off a piece. And when you want to make your metal rods adjustable, two metal rods, all of a sudden, by taping them together, become an adjustable rod. So you're going to tape this together. You're going to overlap it probably a minimum of maybe 8 to 10 inches. So we got one side wrapped. Now we want to wrap the other side. Take your amazing tape, or credible wrap. Wrap this around here like this. You can pull it tight once you get the internal layers wrapped. Pull it tight. Last part of this wrap, important, just let it, no tension, just let it cling to itself. Now you have an adjustable rod. You can make this as long as you want, just keep doing this over and over again. And that's a good introduction to our rods. What if we want to hang a picture? I did tell you we're hanging pictures on the walls. We're doing a lot of different things with this. And if you wanted to hang this little picture, it's a box frame, meaning it's got some depth to it. In this case, I had a couple of hinges. I used some command strip and stuck them to the underside of that. I set those hinges back. The thickness of our magnet and metal plate is off the wall. So something like that could be in your RV. You want to hang it up, and that's what you got. It's on the hinges. It's there. That works real simple. Another way to affix metal to the back of your wooden signs. Here's just a sample wooden sign. Again, there's your Simpson Strong Tie. You could have screwed this to the back of that. You could have used hot melt glue. You could have nailed it. I happen to use a command strip again. And now all of a sudden, you're hanging your sign. It wasn't right where you wanted it. Shift it left, shift it right. Just made that simple. Then you get to your pictures. If you've ever tried to hang pictures, getting a bunch of them level and adjusted, it ain't the easiest thing to do. This situation, we've got some metal rods taped together, adjusted, 2 screws on the sides of that wooden frame. Here, I just used some command strips, or again, I could have hot melt glued that to the base of that. This is just a simple flat steel. Again, it's another piece of Simpson Strong Tie. And that would enable us to hang our pictures. If it was crooked, we can adjust it. Here's the other rod, just like that. So you want to just start decorating, making sure everything's lined up. This might solve a problem for you. That hardware comes in a lot of different shapes. I got some close-ups in our video that will show you. But this is just common steel plates that you may find useful for one function or another. Inexpensive, made out of steel. It's coated, it's not going to rust. So you can put these on the backs of whatever you can think of. And again, thanks for letting me share this with you. I hope that solved some problems. And we'll get back to you in a little bit with some more information. Thank you.